And I'm really glad that someone survived from 8 a.m. and so on, and still ready to listen, to talk, to reflect about their Agile leadership journey and Agile leadership experience. And yes, there will be not that much of neuroscience inside, because it usually takes much more time to go first deep and then understand where is leadership, but there will be some biology of leadership. And so what allows us to become leaders? Even if we don't have sort of formal power, we are not, in Agile, we are not managers, we are leaders. And we need this power to make others leaders from inside. Okay, a little bit about me. Initially, I have sort of a classic Agile coach profile. I'm from St. Petersburg, Russia, and I work as a partner in Scrum Track company. This is the largest Agile coaching company in Russia, and I've heard something about Europe. We have plenty of Agile coaches there. So I started in 2004, then I moved to, worked initially in XP, then I moved to Scrum Master, then it was like several teams, that it was like a program and so on. Then I came to become a program and portfolio manager, and before I went to be a full-time Agile coach and consultant, I worked in London in a Swiss bank. I had about 60 teams, about 500 people all over the world in 14 locations, and it was crazy. It was crazy, it was absolutely following the sun. So first Australia, then India, then Ukraine, Poland, Switzerland, UK, and then at 5 p.m. I said, oh, okay, and then America wake up, okay, and start typing me, and so on. But then I realized, so then I started remembering that my first degree is in biology. To be precise, in embryology, so I know everything how to make children, in theory. But I'm really nice to say that I know everything how to make children when we have workshops. People enjoy that, yeah. But then I moved to IT, and then I started to understand that even when you work with like 10 of teams, with hundreds of people, I do understand, and it's very important to me, when we change something in the process, when we change how people work, how people behave, when we introduce new practices, something in the body changed. So some paths in the brain changed. So amino acid cycle changed. So there are a lot of things, and I do understand that. And I do care. So when we change processes, so people, I would like them to feel better. We don't want to just squeeze the people and get some results with killing people. We want people to feel better. And I naturally moved then to coaching. I'm in personal performance coaching, to neuro leadership. It's applied neuroscience to leaders. And now I'm going even deeper. I'm doing a master's in applied neuroscience, trying to understand how low amount of energy that's burnout affects our ability to concentrate and other attention problems. So I will put this all together and share what I know and see when we have this leadership thing. Who've read this book? Yeah, a few of you, that's good. That's a diary. That's a very interesting book. It's a diary of a submarine, nuclear submarine captain, David Mirkin. I've met him in Agile 2017 in United States on Agile 2017 conference, and so he's fantastic. He's like us. He's a world-level consultant. He's known and admired by Agile community at all. He's just like us. He's very nice. But you feel the energy he has. But nevertheless, this is his story, and he came to the project that you can find practically possible to do. Because at that time, their style of leadership was sort of, captain says something, and you respond like, yes, sir. There are no other words. So that is why to become a captain, you need a 1-year training program to know every tiny bit of the submarine. Because otherwise, with yes, sir approach, if you say something wrong, this will be yes, sir, done wrongly. And this, you're in a submarine, so you need to survive. Any mistake can be critical. So he was studying that, preparing to be captain of the nuclear submarine. And then something before a month of starting that, he received a call from his boss, who said that, okay, you will be captain, but there will be a different submarine, more modern one. What he replied? There is only one reply, yes, sir. But he was in the position that he's not able to give orders, so he's not able to manage this submarine. And, by the way, this was the worst team on submarine fleet ever. So they do a lot of mistakes, they don't want to continue their journey with this submarine, they hate each other, so there's just, nobody knows why they're still alive. And he did a very, very clever thing. He said, if it's an impossible project, it's a death march, definitely, so I will do what I want to do to survive on this submarine. I'm not able to work as yes sir man. I will do experiments. I will try different style of leadership. And he tried that. What he later called an intent-based leadership, when initially his people were on tell me what to do level. And he started teaching them first to articulate, verbally just say, I see something. Then to reflect what they think about the situation. Then reflect what they would like to do with the situation that they see and think. And on first 4 levels, that means that if you don't receive yes, you don't do that. But later, he trained people to think what they intend to do, what they've done and what they've been doing. And at that levels, if you don't receive no, you have default yes, this type of thing. How long you think it took him to go from that level to that level? 2 years? 5 months? 2 months? How long it usually takes to build an agile team? 6 months? A year? Yeah, it took him about a year to build that. So when we're talking about, okay, you have new people from that tell me what to do environment and build me an agile team, you have 1 month. It possibly you will be able to move to that level, possibly to that level, but not to the level of self-organization. And so he made them to that level, and in 1 year, this became the best team ever on the submarine fleet in the United States. And there were 14 officers on the submarine. 10 from them later became captains. And that was an absolutely great example of how you can build leaders. So he said how he built leaders. He said that you need to give power to create others as leaders. And he created or set up this model. When yes, there can be a leader on the team level, or the department level, or the company level. But to be able to survive in these difficult conditions, you need to have leaders on all levels of organization. Everyone is a leader. There can be different layers, but everyone is a leader. And this works when we work in complex and chaotic environments. It might be not that important on simple and complicated, but do we have them now? No. With open markets, with open free will of our customers, with open free will of the people who work with us, we, in best way, we have complex environment where agile works, and chaotic environment where we would prefer not to work, but sometimes we do. And in fact, we changed the general approach of leadership. In 1970s, so up to 1970s, the general approach to leadership was sort of, yes, sir, I'm the leader, you're the follower. You do what I tell you. And now we change the approach completely. I'm the leader, I will help you, and let's go together there. And that is what is called servant leadership. And Robert Greenleaf, who created that approach, we now use it all the time. But if we think about servant leader, do we agree that it is a leader who serves the team? Yes, no? and serves not only the team. And that's interesting, because quite often, when you say that we are serving the team, we can be treated as a servant. So it will be not servant leader, but leader servant. And this is not what we need to, because in that case, we have the approach when powerless servant, his task is to create powerful leaders. He doesn't have this power to give to others, so they become leaders. So we don't need servants for the team. We need leaders for leaders. So the leaders should have energy and power to give to the team so they become leaders. But sort of where? Where a servant leader takes his power. And then we will move deeper in biological thing, because servant leader has only himself. He doesn't have external power. He has only himself. What is inside? It all will influence, are we good servant leaders or not? And there is a very nice approach called dichotomy. Dichotomy is very scientific. If you go right, you definitely don't go left. And there is no in between. So all this, all that. So what is dichotomy for leadership? Is that management and leadership a dichotomy? No. Manager can be a leader, leader can be a manager can be not leader can be not manager, so it's like several ways. It's not right or left, black or white. Is servant leader and leader a dichotomy? Not at all. We even usually just misplace this leader and servant, it doesn't matter. But there is one. There is one dichotomy. If you are black, you are not white. If black, not black. If right, not left, and so on. This is dominant and a leader. And there is ethology, this is branch of biology that explores behavior of animals. And in biology, people are animals as well. So it explores this, and it has two main branches, so this dichotomy thing. One explores behavior in a cage. Behavior in a caged environment, in zoos, or in some parks where we can observe, and so there is cage around. And the most important thing is that there is some access to food. So food comes from somewhere. Just because you are in that cage, you are paid by the food, so you are in. So someone cares that you survive. Someone cares. But what who feeds you takes from you. It's loyalty. It's your time. It's your dedication, and so on. So it's very important, this access to food thing. And another branch, it studies behavior in wild nature. When there is no borders, there is no guaranteed food, there is no guaranteed salary, and everything depends on you. It depends on, are you able to get real results? Are you able to hunt for food? Are you able to feed yourself and your team? What results do you have? And in this case, it doesn't matter how long you work for this company. It doesn't matter what relationships you have with your boss. It means that, are you able to get results? Here, it's important what relationships you have and how long you are, how lonely you are. You will get salary and food and so on. Here, it's not that important. If you are not able to get results, you don't have results. If you have them, you will be treated as the person who can get that. So we are talking about dominant behavior, when behavior in a cage, and leader as a behavior in wild nature, when you're hunting for food. And this cage, in human case, is inside the head. It's not something that we are put physically in the caged environment, so people can become dominants. It's a mental thing. And it can be absolutely caged environment where people stay free inside. So the most well-known example is Viktor Frankl, who in sort of a prison, He made mental experiments, he wrote the book, he observed the behavior and so on. So he was not mentally in this cage. And sometimes people put themselves in a cage in just sort of a normal environments. Give me examples of the caged environments where people can put themselves. Yeah? More? Sorry? Yeah, it can be marriage, it can be job, it can be family, so it can be prison, it can be army, it can be school, it can be company. And it's quite strange because I see people who really have cage inside their head, for example, when they start working on their dream job. So I dreamed for 10 years to start working in a Google, I'm now working in a Google, and I will try my best to fit in the company and stay in the company. So the person changed his mindset from I will get great results to I want to fit in the company. This is the difference between leader and dominant in that case. And what happens with the biology, with the brain, when person starts thinking about himself, that I'm in a cage, I have these limitations. In the cage, there is no need for exploring around because you are in the caged environment. There will be low dopamine. Dopamine is neurotransmitter. It's between the cells in the brain that is responsible for anticipation. Anticipation of something good. Anticipation for something new. When we're scrolling Facebook, we're getting this dopamine, because it's new, it's nice, it's from friends, and if we don't take it, we will lose it because the algorithm will hide it from us as well. So exploring, it's not there. No space for children because you're in a cage environment, there will be lower testosterone. And no enemies from outside, there will be low adrenaline, that is stress hormone as well. And if we don't have like stress hormones at all, it will be like very, very low amount of energy. So you don't need to wake up. There is no enemies. You don't need to wake up to make children, so there will be no children. There is no need and interest to explore. There is no energy there. And people start feeling old. It doesn't matter what age you have physically. It's important what age you have mentally. And putting yourself in the cage, make yourself thinking old. And start doubting, am I able to get results? Or I will just sit still where I am. It can happen when people are in 20s, in 30s, in 40s, when they are still physically young. So this doesn't matter what age they have. And that happens, so dominant, so it will be low testosterone and dopamine, feeling old and weak, and leader feeling young and powerful, and in terms of feeling. And when I'm feeling old and weak, I start doubting, am I able to get results? And if I feel that I'm not, how I will react to that young guy who definitely builds a career, who is brilliant and nice? How I will react that this girl, she proposes a great idea that I didn't have? I will eat them because they start being my enemies. I don't have enemies from outside. Now, as a dominant, I have enemies inside my team. Everyone who is able, or I think is able to eat my food, my plate that was given from somewhere, is my enemy. So for dominant, threat is inside. People around him, his team is his threat. Leader protects his team, so the threat is outside, so where he's hunting. What do you think? What triggers people to become dominants, to think they are in the cage? What happened? We are born all as leaders. So what happened so people become dominants? Habits? Yeah, interactions with other people. Mindset, yeah. Failure, yeah. Pretty much this one. So habit. So people just don't have other examples. And that is why it's that important that we have conferences like that, when we show, when we just know that that might be different, that this dominant behavior is not norm and is not the only behavior that we have. Burnout, when you lose your energy and lose the chance to get it back. So you start feeling that I'm not able to survive. No access to result. I am doing something and I don't understand what I'm doing. I'm like technically hunting, but I'm not getting result. And bureaucracy as one of the cases of not having access to result. You are only doing some process. You have only process, not result. This is again not leadership behavior. Or that might be a failure. Something happened with my project. Or it might be that something happened with my family. It can be a divorce, it can be some problems with children, anything, because we have only one body. We have only one head. It's all influences one another. So it's not only job behavior, it's the general behavior. So something happened, and I was not able to bounce back. So that's what happens when people become dominants. And so I tried to find a picture for the dominant behavior. And what do you think? If we have a leader with leadership behavior, how he will behave in a dominant environment? What he will do? What leader will do in dominant environment when everyone around are dominants? He can protect his team, yeah? Might be. It can happen, and it's really a difficult thing to survive as a leader in dominant environment. Will try to escape, yeah. So he can try to escape just to find better environment. He can be leader on level of one person, so I get the results. I don't care much about everything else. And usually these people are identified as they produce great results, but nobody loves them. So we sort of allow you to stay in our company. We think that you are not loyal, but because you bring so great results, so please stay here, okay. So this is a leader of one person. Then he can create a bubble of leadership environment. Usually we call it Scrum teams. So, and I'm really thankful for Scrum, as we have the official ability to create this bubble. There is a name, there is a world practice to create this leadership bubble in the dominant, in any environment. Or this will be the person who starts agile transformation in the company if the level of the level of energy is high enough. So let's go deeper. If we take a leader, let's cut himself in several components. There will be 3 of them. One is rank potential, prime activity, and vitality. And in fact, it's not about leader, it's about every person. First one is rank potential. It's what type of results, it's what type of ambitions, what type of things I anticipate for myself. It's the caliber of the person, what the size of achievement is okay for me. Reflect a little bit. Who would you like to be? Who would you be like? What type of books you read about what type of achievements? You possibly follow people and so on. And for example, you are working on the low-level position in the company, and then you are thinking that I would like to be the manager or the boss of this company. You can work anywhere, but you're thinking about that this achievement, I would like to have this. This is rank potential. Not what you currently have, but what you are dreaming of. So there can be the person who just drives the truck and he thinks about himself as about a truck driver. That means that his current social position is equal to his rank potential because he's not thinking about anything else. He can be still a truck driver, but thinks about, okay, there is some goods from this city, price of the fuel is like that, or I can take this truck as a leasing truck, so I can be the owner of this truck. So he's still driving, so socially he's still driving, but he has a rank potential of the person who owns the truck. Or he can think about, okay, I will take Tom as my employee, but I will not take Ben as my employee. So his rank potential, he's thinking about a manager of several people and owning several drivers. Or he can think, okay, there is the driverless truck approach all over the world. He reads about that. He's not against that. He thinks about it, okay, if I have a chance to join this program or do something for that, I will really join that. That means in his brain, he's ready to change the world. He doesn't find it something difficult or really frightening. He's interested. He's anticipating that there will be change. This is rank potential. It is depending on initially amount of energy that you have inside your brain that is called reticular formation. That is inborn one. Then on the level of the dopamine, the interest you have. And the more you are interested, the less you are stressed. It's interest and fear, so they go like vice versa. And the testosterone. And in fact, you can manage this as well, as that if you don't have enough sleep, there is really much lower level of testosterone you have. You stop thinking big. You stop dreaming big when you don't have enough sleep. So 15% in terms of age and feeling, it's about 10 years. So you don't sleep about, not enough, for about an hour, and you feel 10 years older. Very nice. The second one is primativity. It's what is more important. Is it what others want from me is more important? This is low primativity, primal, what was first. Or my understanding what I want is important for me. So this will be high primativity. And the top, like 100% primativity, is I don't care about other people at all. I don't care about even the law that I shouldn't kill other people and so on. This is sociopathy on the top level. And the third is vitality. So reticular formation in the brain, it produces some energy. Then there is a level of emotional brain when we can think there can be some fears or there can be motivation that all will stop this energy or enhance this energy, and then it will arrive in your human brain. And so how much energy you really physically now have in your hands and can use to achieve your goals, achieve your dreams. This is vitality. Who's that? Yeah, it's guinea pig. It's me. It's me. I will going to share with you research. Initially, I started working with this as a participant. So there were two people. One is psychiatrist, and the second she is psychologist and sociologist, and that's important. So they created a model of understanding how much, how a level of energy that we have affects our behavior, affects our thoughts, and affects our abilities. And it's again all linked to the brain. So when we have low amount of energy, we sort of use only deep and ancient parts of the brain, and then having more and more energy, we start thinking more like a human being, having this logic and higher nervous activity and so on. This will be sort of an exercise. So on yourself, think about your team. It's better to think about that, not yourself, now, not about yourself, about your team with whom you're working or who is surrounding you. It's like Ben, Jerry, Lily, and so on. I usually say it like Vasya, Petya, Kolya, yeah, in Russian, but still. Think about Vasya, Petya, Kolya. We need something like 5, 6 of them. And then I will describe the model, and you will sort of think, okay, this looks like Vasya, this looks like Kolya, or in general, this looks like behavior of my team. And in fact, this is just like sort of guessing, because this happens in very deep layers of the brain that do not have words. This guessing is the most accurate thing that you can do in there. When you try to input logic there, there will be a mistake. So 0 is comma, that your brain is working, everything else is not. We will go from bottom to top, And you might think about this as someone survived from really serious illness. So 5%, people are able to swallow and digest. On 10%, you start being great in terms of the flat. So initially it was great in terms of the bed, then in terms of the flat. Then you are able to do something in there. Very easy activities, prepare food, choose clothes, and so on. It's not enough energy to walk outside because you will be lost, but so at least inside the flat it will be fine. 20-25%, in fact, it's enough to start working, so you will be able to move to using the known route to the work, do some very, very physical and very identical work, and in fact, conveyor was invented for this amount of energy. So people just raise their hand, another raise their hand, down, down, up, down, down. So this is the way of work that you can do there. Manual labor, and you need an external signal to start and finish your job. 30%. So you have more brain active, sort of, and people are able to select activity themselves. So to understand what I will start, but and able to get energy from external feedback. So someone says that it's good job, someone says it's bad job, and people understand it, it starts changing their behavior. So they understand the feedback. With below level of energy, it's not possible. 35%, people start understanding time. Be able to say, am I in time or not? They will be definitely not, but everyone is really bad in managing time. But understanding of time starts on 35%. People are confident in the known environment, but if anything changes, it starts being physical panic and physical response no to any change. Sometimes when I'm on that level of energy, sometimes I'm in there, so I'm more or less good with the things that are present now, but something happens. There is an email, there is a message, you're accepted to this conference, we want you for a training, something perfect. And inside it feels like very, very small shaking. So my body explains to me that we are fine with the current level of activity, but we need something more when the change happens. And there is data that for change, we need 9.5 times more energy than for the known activities. And I just don't have energy. We will not survive with this change. And then starts being really afraid. Would you like to work with these people in your team? Yeah? No, not really. Not enough, so we have a lot of change around us. And there is statistics that we are collecting, and we're doing this again and again, that on average, in Russia, in Europe, in UK, in United States, we did several checks, the average amount of energy in office workers, those who have high degree, who already work with the computers, is 33%. 33%, the environment we live in, what is surrounding us. If we don't do anything, we will be here. So if you don't do anything, if you don't use any practices, you will be here. 40% is already not the office hamster, it's the boss of the office hamster. Because at that moment, amount of brain is enough to understand, to separate yourself from others and not be engaged in all conflicts at all. And people understand personal boundaries, and people finally start having willpower, understanding that what I will do now possibly will result in something good later. Before, with low amount of energy, people don't have willpower. They only can think about a very, very, very small period of time. And the lower energy is, the smaller period of time is. Even for this amount of time, ask what you're going to do next 3 and 5 years. No way. There is no brain to understand that. This level of energy can possibly explain what I have plans for the next week or possibly next month, and usually external plans, not my own ones. But still, at least willpower will start there. Would you like to work with these people in your team? And sort of. It can work. You possibly can protect the team from the extra changes in there, but it's only 45% when people are able to self-organize. When people to understand and manage changes and understand that it's not a problem, it's just life and so on. It's the lowest amount of energy that software developers should have, because abstract thinking, putting difficult models in the real results, starts only here. And the ability to move towards positive. We will really try hard today, we'll change our process, and this will be better. We need this amount of brain to that. And the most important here is that people finally are able to understand their internal goals. They understand what they want. And it starts being really difficult to manipulate these people. Because when with low amount of energy, you tell people what to do, they said of yes, or said of not yes, or said of no, and something like that. And for people 45 and above, you need to explain. You need to match the goals of the company with the goals of the person. You need to engage, you need to talk to people. But when you explain, when you engage, when you talk, later then they can self-organize and do it on themselves. You don't need to manage them on yes sir approach. Would you like to work with these people, with your team? Yeah? Sort of? So this is a minimal amount of energy for Agile team, specifically for Scrum team. And what about Kanban? Yeah, it depends. It depends on what type or what level of process you have. Sometimes it's a conveyor. Kanban can be on conveyor level, so it can be 20-25%. You can have portfolio Kanban when you need people like close to 100 and so on. But for the Scrum team, self-organized, small, able to create something in terms of problem or general goal, it's the minimal amount. 50-55% is the amount of energy where leadership starts. So when person is interesting enough and have enough energy to set the goal and to really achieve that goal. And this is enough for top management when management is not a leader. And these people start being change agents. They understand that they not only need to follow the environment changes, but to embrace changes themselves. And this is definitely an individuality, so it's not just a person, it's something that stands above. Especially when the majority of people, 33%, it's 20% above, it's really, really good. 60%, it's again a breakthrough. It's the moment when people start understanding that possibly they have a nice mental model in their head. Something like Scrum, Kanban, safe, less. But when they come to the company or start working with the people, they understand that there is something that doesn't need to be changed in this company, even if it doesn't fit the initial internal model. So if, for example, we have an agile coach with low amount of energy, he comes to the company and said, Scrum everybody, just because he's fond of Scrum, not fitting really to what company has and what company wants. So to be a coach, to be a psychotherapist, to be a consultant, to be an agile coach, this is the amount of energy we should have. 65-75%. This amount of energy when people practically can't work in the companies. People start creating their own ideas, their own companies, their own products. This is the level that we require from our product owners, and it is the most difficult role ever that we have. I have a training on neuroscience for product owners, and where I explain, so there are product owners use their brain not like Scrum Masters, not like teams, not like managers. It's absolutely difficult. It's much harder, and just to add a little bit, they need this amount of energy when everyone, not everyone, majority around is 33%, and the environment is 33%. So like 90% of their life, they need to spend on maintaining their amount of energy, just because if it's lower, they are not able to move different parts from different knowledges and ideas and people into something solid. They're not able to create new ideas. This synthesis type of activity requires this amount of energy. And 80-100 is people who change the world, who influence the world, and the main difference between 80 and 100 is 80 is we know these people now, but after they're dead, we will forget them in like 10-20 years. People who really change the world and it will maintain changed after they die, like 120,000 of years, like Alexander the Great, Sanzim, Mother Teresa, something like that, who really changed the world just because who they are, is the level of energy about 100. So reflect a little bit how much energy your team has. Shout me back. No one sees? Yeah? Okay, then I will share some statistics in there. Usually, what I see in at the conferences and in the teams, so we have an environment of like 35-40% in the companies, usually in software companies, so it's a little bit higher than just normal office workers. We want our team to be 40-45% to work on themselves, to be self-organized team. Scrum Master needs 50-55, then 60-65, Agile Coach and Product Owner 65-75. There is a general rule that if you want to be a leader of a team, check what level of energy they currently have and add 10%. If you are a team leader of a team of product owners and they all have 70, you need 80. So they understand 10% gives a feeling of someone being interesting, that his ideas are important. It's feeling of the person of being sexy. It's feeling of the person of being energetic, something like 10%. But if the difference between you and the team is 20% and higher, they will not recognize you at all as a person. It will be someone from another planet. It will be someone like unicorn. Sometimes this happens that you go to the team who is on like very low 33 level, and then an agile coach with 60-65 goes and tells about self-organization, about leadership, about enjoying your work, and you have like, who's that? Who's sort of that clown? We don't understand him. He's not us. He's not like us. He's even not what we want to be. So this difference of 20% is critical enough. So sometimes we need to hide this a little bit. And again, about product owners and the team, it's a very good idea to have product owner, Scrum Master, and the team. So at least team understands Scrum Master, product owner understands Scrum Master, and product owner, there is some layer between product owner and the team because they, in some cases, not in all cases, don't understand each other. And we need to be something like 10% above the team, and there is energy contagion thing. That, think about, you are not a really good energy condition, and you talk with the person who is great, who is very lovely, enjoyable, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. In about half an hour, you feel much better. So you feel like you get some energy. And this is normal thing, this is biological thing. In about 15 minutes, people start to match their energy. So, and that means that if you spend all your time with, for example, your team that is 10% lower in terms of energy than you are, very soon you will become lower. And that is why one of the reasons why we created this Scrum Master community, huge amount of product owner community, conferences like this. We need an environment that supports us in terms of energy. We need an environment that helps us to maintain that. Because leading and working with the people who have low amount of energy drains hours. So we need something to help us with that. And again, working with this amount of energy, rank potential depends on how you were born, and you can't make more energy than initially you were born, but don't worry, people with high rank potential are not rare. Primativity, it's your emotional brain, how you relate to others, what is more important, your ideas or others' ideas. And vitality, how much energy, after all, you have in your hands and can use. And let's play. Who's that? It can be name, it can be position, it can be any. Who have rank potential to change the world? It's like Alexander the Great. Who doesn't care about other people at all, only his ideas and wishes are important, and he really have a lot of energy to change the world. Who's that? Might be Hitler? Yeah, yeah? Not really, he at least don't kill people on the public. So primativity is not that bad, but quite close, yes. So it's mafia boss. And again, when we talk about a high rank potential, high vitality and so on, it doesn't mean that this great person. It's just an ability to change the world. It can be Hitler, it can be really, really bad people who change the world, not to the good, but to the bad. So that's important. And we don't want, like, please don't want for yourself 100, 100, 100, because 100 primativity is not good as well. Who's that? He really wants to change the world. He can work with other people quite well, understand his ideas and others' ideas, and he quite have a vitality of creating ideas or leading the company. Barack Obama, Elon Musk, yeah? Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. So we know these people on the world level, their ideas really changed the world, at least now. It's usually the CEOs of the technological companies who invented something new. It can be top scientists, it can be top artists, and so on. So this is like the admiration, like what, not practically everyone, but a lot of people would look like. Who's that? Okay. Would you like to be this person? Might be. So don't think that it's something bad. 50, 50, 50 with 33 as an average is really good. In fact, this is a happy person. I would like to be like that, because he wants what he can do, and he can do what he wants. So it's really, really great. But we as leaders, if we have this person in our team, what would like to do with this person? Yeah, we would like to promote him, because he's already great in his job. And because that rank potential is already like vitality, he doesn't want the promotion. He doesn't want something extra. So the best employees, the most likable employees, is whose rank potential is something like 10% higher than vitality. So it's pretty much good. And it can be vitality 70, rank potential 70, and it still will be a happy person as well. So identical is very good. And this is sort of artificial situation. Vitality cannot be higher than rank potential on for a long time. This can be like a yoga teacher who has very, very good physical conditions. They can be drug addict on first 15 minutes. Or it can happen that initially in the childhood, rank potential was blocked. Rank potential was blocked, like in childhood, there was always a pattern, so don't dream big. So you don't dream what you can't do right now. You are not able to do, you are nothing. So this is something that really blocks rank potential. And this is really a sad story when a person realizes that his vitality is higher than his rank potential. But this can be cured, so we unblock rank potential and work with this as well. Who's that? Dreamers. Unfortunately, no. These are former dreamers. This is the pattern of burnout. The person who dreamed big, who has a normal primitivity, but he dreamed big and he wanted to achieve this big. So a lot of motivation, like trying to achieve this in one jump. This is not the way how it works. So we need to achieve this in small steps so our hormonal activity can support that. So this in one, like eat it once, unfortunately breaks it here. And what we have as well, when we have low level of vitality, unfortunately, it influences primitivity. When you don't have enough energy, you will mainly follow others' wishes, what others tell you, because you don't have enough energy to understand your own desires. And rank potential, at least temporary, will be cut to the level of vitality. And this is what I see on the third level of burnout. Is when people go to me, I'm working as a burnout consultant for teams and people come to me and say, I want to want. I don't want anything, but I remember how I felt when I previously wanted something. And now I can't even this. So this is this artificial blocking of rank potential because of the vitality. So we restore vitality and then it will be sort of restored automatically. And your time frame will be like, first it will be minutes, then half an hour, then sort of a day, then possibly a week, and then goes higher and higher. So don't think then like you are not able to think about a year's time. It's usually an energy problem. It's not about yourself, it's just about energy. So what we do as leaders, so we generate this energy inside and we give it to our people so they can become leaders as well. And we need to maintain, we need to understand it from the inside. I will tease you a little bit, we will not touch this, but I have a framework how we do that. And tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we will have a 2-day training on this. So it's how you work with that. And I would like to make a small exercise, a small test on what gives you energy, what your leadership profile is. And if it doesn't match your type of job, there is a high probability that your energy is much lower than you really can have. I will ask you for 1 minute, find a pair, or can be in threes, but in pairs, so it will be sort of 1 minute, find a pair, so it will be talking exercise. Yeah? 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 Join someone. It's very difficult to do it on yourself. Please find someone. So you need to articulate it physically to pronounce that. Okay, done? Okay. 1 minute. Please share the case when something went wrong. You worked with the team. You can be inside the team or you can manage the team to be very, very close to people. Something like project fails, or the product is not used, or the customer changed his mind and stops the project completely. You don't need to describe the project. So you don't need deep in the story. Just reflect about what do you regret about when something went wrong, when something fails. What do you regret? Just several sentences. Go. Discuss that. What do you regret with this project? Yeah? 20 seconds left. If you didn't change, like start the second person. 10 seconds. Please finish. Okay, it's time. We will continue a little bit. I will explain the model and we will continue with this. Yeah, 5 minutes is fine as well. Okay, so when we talk about a leader, he has sort of a job, so he's doing something. But what the leader is doing? From biological terms, there are 2 types of job that leader has. He's looking for new. And this is fish. Fish are golians, it's the type of the fish, and they are famous to going with the school of fish, where everyone goes like one, perfect in that. But sometimes there is one crazy fish that finds something interesting. In terms of fish, it's something tasty, but like extrapolate, he finds something interesting, and it's so interesting that he starts going there. But usually, normally, very soon, he understands that, okay, oh, I'm alone, I'm afraid, and usually just returns back to the school of fish. But there are some crazy fish, and later scientists were able to make them crazy, so just to adjust their brain a little bit, who finds it so interesting, don't caring about, is that acceptable for others, do they like me, and so it's so interesting. So he starts going there. And very soon, he just understands that he's not alone. And you might experience this as well. If you find something interesting, you are deep in there, and quite often it's, oh, what you're doing? Oh, that's nice. Oh, I would like to join you. Let's do a meetup, do a talk on the conference. So people start joining just because people have energy, just because they're interested in something. And they have a prediction that if you're able to find these interesting things somewhere and you have energy to achieve that, so they want to join. They want to be with you on this nice green grass. So this is the nature of leadership, of following. And again, when scientists, they explore leaders and followers, leader is not a person who goes, let's go with me, let's go with me. No, the leader is a person who looks at, and there's a physical eye-tracking tool, who looks at the result and what is interesting. He's not looking at other people. And followers are those who are looking at the leader. So you can track the group and understand who is the leader on the group. Leader is who is not looking on others. Followers are those who are looking at the leader, and so on. The same thing. And the second leadership job is to protect. So these leaders think that we already described, not a dominant one when you are eating or kicking others from the plate with the food. It's protecting others. If they want to go with me, I'm responsible for them. I would like to make their life better. So the leader's job is looking for new and to protect. And this cannot be like one without the other. Would you like to hire this person? And the size of the circle means like the level of the leadership ability. Would you like to hire this person? Yeah, would like, but you can't. Normally this person will hire you because this level of leadership ability is like the CEO, the inventor, and this is very, very rare situation. And usually for startups, we again have 2. One is good in technology and one is good in marketing. One is good for technology and one is good in working with people. And Agile again created absolutely magnificent thing. He said that we need a leader with a profile where protection is the main thing and something looking for you to just break this glass ceiling if the team has this, and to engage them and to show new ideas, and a product owner who is looking for new and to protect. And what is your leadership profile? And this is, we did this exercise to identify your leadership profile. And usually when people talk about the failure project, and they talk about what they regret about, people with leadership profile more with to protect, they tell, oh, I'm regretting that our team spent so much time on this project and they get nothing. They say that they regret that the team now has low motivation. They say that they feel sorry for the people that they spent their time, their energy, and now they are very difficult to start new projects. So they regret about people spent their time not effectively and not nice, not getting results. When you talk about looking for new, you again regret on losing time, but this time is lost. And during this time, you might check another idea. Or you like the idea and you regret that this didn't work. So something like this. So on protect, you regret about people, that they didn't get the result. And here you regret about idea, that the idea was great, but it just didn't go, the product was not launched, and possibly this time spent can be used for some other ideas that are more brilliant, something like that. And could you please turn on the Menti thing? Yeah. There is a Menticom thing. There is code 49312. Please go there and reflect, when you discussed this failure project, what was your leadership profile? You can check with your neighbors what they heard, what you was talking about, or check on the Menti. So who's that? Who are you? Okay. Protect, looking for new. Okay, please continue, and I will share my personal story. As the majority of my Agile career, I had a job profile of a Scrum Master. I was a Scrum Master, then Scrum Master of several teams, then programs and portfolio, but still, I'm the person who protects quite a lot of people. But then I did this check, and it happened that my leadership profile is a product owner one. I'm the person who is driven by looking for new. I'm the person who is constantly trying to do this. And there is no secret that while I was working as a Scrum Master, I had really large problems with energy. So I had to find something that really boosts my energy. When I moved to the type of job like an entrepreneur in Agile consulting way, so this is a product ownership type of thing, I don't need them anymore, because this is the type of the job when it matches my leadership profile, it gives me energy. So you might reflect as well. So if your job is like a Scrum Master, but your leadership profile is more like looking for new, check. What can you add? What will support you? Or what additional things in Scrum Master's role can give you energy for looking for new profile? If you're a product owner and you're looking for new, but you really, your profile, you care about people, that's good as well. But find something that will allow you to protect these people. Don't find Scrum Master who pushes you out of the team. Possibly you can work with your team just very close, and this will help you to maintain your energy as well. So about like 15-20% easier to maintain on this ladder. It was really effective. So when we're talking about strong natural leader in Agile environment, we all have these sort of profiles, someone or another, and we have strong natural leader coming from combination. So our teams have strong leaders, just because we have Scrum Masters and product owners that have this combination. And again, there is a very unique approach in there, that for the normal sort of management, you will be sort of promoted or not promoted, depending on how long you work in the company, how loyal you are to the company, so what relationships you have to this boss. And if the boss doesn't like you or you have any problems in there, you just lose quite a lot of your career, you just lose a lot of your path in there. This is not the case with Agile leadership. Because if you influence yourself, you're a leader of yourself, then you can influence yourself and the second person. Then level of influence goes to 3, to 5, to 15, to 45, to 150. That is Dunbar's number. Then 450, then 2,000, then 7,000. And this is raised with your energy only in the people who see, understand, and follow you. And this is raised like an anthill. And no one can take it from you. And moreover, people sense this level of energy that you have. This is sensed by the very, very deep levels of the brain. And people from 3 years old understand how much energy people have. No one can take it from you. And the only difference is understanding that there is no spoon and there is no cage. Thank you.